We are going to see that we create our own African personality and identity. You know, those are the words of Kwame Nkrumah, spoken right on the eve of independence. And that wasn't just a speech, it was a declaration, a promise, really, that one nation's freedom was about to ignite a fire across an entire continent.
But it makes you wonder, how is a nation truly born? This is the story of how one country, forged in the fires of independence, became a symbol of hope for millions. This is the story of Ghana, freedom's first dawn.
So, our story begins on the world stage, and we're at a moment that was so much more than just a new line drawn on a map. For Africa, the birth of this nation, well, it was the sound of the very first crack in the massive walls of empire.
March 6, 1957. That's the day the British colony known as the Gold Coast simply ceased to exist. In its place, a new nation was born, Ghana. Now, you have to understand, this was a huge deal. It was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to break the chains of colonial rule, and it sent a shockwave across the globe that basically signaled the beginning of the end for empire in Africa.
And at the very heart of this incredible transformation was one man, Kwame Nkrumah. He wasn't just Ghana's first leader, he was a political philosopher, and his vision stretched way, way beyond his own nation's borders. For Nkrumah, Ghana's freedom was only the first step. His ultimate goal was Pan-Africanism, this dream of a united, self-reliant continent completely free from foreign influence.
But the roots of this new nation, they run much deeper than 1957. To really understand modern Ghana, we have to journey back through the centuries, into the echoes of powerful kingdoms and really sophisticated civilizations whose legacies still shape the land today.
You see, long before Europeans ever set foot here, this region was a rich tapestry of organized states. You had the Bonomon Kingdom way back in the 11th century, then the rise of various Akan states, and by the 19th century, the Ashanti Empire had become this dominant force, a centralized kingdom with its capital in Kumasi, known for its intricate bureaucracy and its military might.
And the foundation of all this power, the one resource that would truly shape its destiny and, well, draw the world's attention, was gold. This wasn't just a commodity, it was the lifeblood of these kingdoms. It fueled a vast trade network that pulsed right across the continent.
But that abundance of gold would ultimately bring a new, transformative, and often brutal chapter. The arrival of European traders. It marked the beginning of a dual legacy, one of immense wealth and at the same time unimaginable human tragedy. So back in the 15th century, Portuguese explorers arrived. And they named the region for the very thing they were after, the Gold Coast. And that name, born out of commercial ambition, would define this area for nearly 500 years.
I mean, the scale of this whole enterprise is just staggering. More than 30 European forts and castles were built all along this coastline. At first, they were built to trade for gold, but these imposing structures would soon be repurposed for the most horrific commerce in human history, the transatlantic slave trade. And this is exactly why the transformation in 1957 was so profound. The name change from Gold Coast to Ghana. That was a deliberate act of reclamation. It was a powerful rejection of a colonial identity that was all about extraction, and a proud embrace of a pre-colonial heritage, the ancient Ghana Empire, symbolizing a future of independence and Pan-African unity.
But, independence wasn't the end of the story. It was really just the beginning of a new struggle. The decades that followed would be a turbulent journey, as this new republic fought to forge a new path toward a stable and prosperous future.
And that path was full of challenges. Just 9 years after independence, Nkrumah was overthrown. What followed was this long period of political instability, a whole succession of coups and shifting governments. It wasn't until 1992, with a new constitution, that the foundation for today's stable democracy, what they call the Fourth Republic, was finally laid. And then came the real test, 2001. That's when we saw the first peaceful, democratic transfer of power from one elected leader to another, a huge milestone.
Out of all that turbulence, modern Ghana has emerged as this beacon of stability in what can be a really volatile region. Today, it's recognized for its strong democratic institutions and a real commitment to peace, which is just a testament to the resilience of its people.
The nation's economy has also evolved, dramatically. I mean, while its natural resources are still vital, the engine of modern Ghana is diversifying. Today, the services sector makes up half of the entire economy, and manufacturing plays a pretty significant role too. It's a really clear sign of a nation that's building a future not solely dependent on what it can pull from the ground. But that said,
The metal that gave the land its ancient name, it still glitters. In a historic shift, Ghana actually surpassed South Africa back in 2019 to become the #1 gold producer on the entire continent. So the echoes of its ancient kingdoms are definitely still heard in its modern economy.
And now, there's a new source of wealth being tapped from beneath the waves. Offshore oil reserves, potentially as high as 7 billion barrels. That represents a massive opportunity for the country's next chapter of development.
But a nation is always more than its politics or its economy, right? So what is the heart of Ghana today? Well, I think we find the answer in its people, its vibrant culture, and the ongoing quest to live up to the promise of its motto, freedom and justice.
See, Ghana isn't a monolith. It's this rich, incredible mosaic. While the Akan are the largest ethnic group, they're just one part of a diverse national family that includes the Moldogban, the Ive, and so many others, each with their own languages and traditions, all coexisting under one flag. And this diversity absolutely thrives in its bustling cities. You've got Accra, the sprawling coastal capital, and then Kumasi, the historic heart of the Ashanti Kingdom. These are the two major hubs really driving the nation's economic and cultural life forward.
In Ghana's cultural influence, it's felt worldwide, from the intricate, beautiful patterns of kente cloth and the profound wisdom of Adinkra symbols to the infectious rhythms of highlife music and, of course, the global phenomenon of the Azonto dance. Ghanaian culture is a dynamic and powerful global export.
Ultimately, the nation's motto, freedom and justice, is so much more than just words on a coat of arms. It's a living promise. It represents the freedom that was so hard-won in 1957 and the ongoing daily struggle to ensure justice and equality for all its citizens, especially in the face of modern challenges.
So from the gold of ancient empires to the dawn of continental freedom, Ghana's story has always been one of profound significance. As it navigates the complex currents of the 21st century, it continues to grapple with that founding promise of freedom and justice. And so the world watches, not just to see what this nation will do next, but maybe, just maybe, to be reminded of what's possible.